We got some crazy relationship drama not even Oprah could fix. And that is saying a lot. Starting us off, what crimes did my wife commit? I don't know if I want to know. I do. I always do. This story was first posted October 21st, 2017. My wife came to me on Friday and asked if I had spoken to our daughter recently. I told her I had not, but I asked why she wanted to know. She said, I got a phone call from our daughter and she is threatening to sue us for money, her clothes, and the car. I asked my wife what money she was thinking of suing us for, and my wife said that she moved $4,500 from my daughter's checking account into a trust account that daughter cannot touch until she is 21 years old. I asked my wife if her name was on the account. She said, I was there when she opened it, which, WTF are you thinking? I told her that was identity theft. She said no, she gave me the PIN when we opened the account. Okay then, that makes no sense. I checked my email and my daughter says that my wife used a forged check to take all the money out of her account. The total was indeed $4,500. My daughter says that she has proof the check was forged. I am thinking that at a minimum, my wife can be charged with identity theft, forgery, and fraud. Am I wrong in thinking that this would be a second-class felony under PA law because of the amount involved? This is not what I was expecting when we first started this. We have a little update on this post. Apparently, there were 4 checks issued to withdraw all of the money. A local police department has attempted to contact my wife, but she did not answer the call because she did not recognize the number. My wife says that if my daughter files a suit, she will file a counterclaim for emotional distress in the amount of $5,000. Okay, but Mom, you took someone's money illegally.
What do you mean?
Was that your daughter's earned money? I'm confused. She says that she has a therapist who is willing to testify as to the devastating emotional stress my daughter has caused her. She also says that she will hire an attorney while my daughter will be stuck with a free attorney who doesn't do anything. I have kept my daughter informed and she is unbothered by my wife's threats. I have told my daughter that I will speak to any authority and will not lie on behalf of any party. I am well aware of the fact that my wife needs professional help. Our pastor advised me to seek mental help. Her parents asked her to also seek mental help. Her children asked her to seek mental help, and I have asked her to seek mental help. She says that she's seeing a therapist, but she will not provide me with a name and says that she is paying for it out of pocket. I cannot force her to get mental help unless she is acutely homicidal or acutely suicidal. Those are both in quotations. If I could go down the block to the courthouse at lunchtime and get her put on a 72-hour hold for being a jerk, I would do that. Update number 2 on the same post. My wife seems shocked that the police would investigate this for free. My wife believes that police investigating a crime is a waste of taxpayer money. My wife now wants to go to family counseling. I told her that our daughter would not agree to that, and she said then she won't get her money. What's the problem though, Mom? What beef do we have that you're taking my money illegally? And for what? Don't you have your own money? Luckily, we have an update, which came November 3rd, 2017, 13 days later. Docket sheet has gone up on the PA Unified Judicial System website. She has not yet been arrested. 3rd-degree felony, access device issued to another who did not authorize use. Penalty is up to 7 years in prison and or up to $15,000 in fines. 1st-degree misdemeanor, theft by unlawful taking, movable property. Penalty is up to 5 years in prison and a minimum fine of $1,500 up to $10,000. I am sure there could have been more charges. Hopefully they will let her plead down to some lesser offense, slap her with a hefty fine, and make her pay restitution. Hopefully she will learn a lesson. Doesn't end there. We have a final update. This one came almost 2 years later in August of 2019. Let's hope she's not in prison. Eventually, my wife was charged with a felony and a misdemeanor. I got to pay approximately $4,000 to hire a defense attorney. My daughter got her money back and asked the state to drop the charges, which my wife spun as a victory on her own part. My wife's bad actions were a very serious factor in my decision to file for divorce last year. I can't have my wife trying to control my daughter's lives and expecting me to defend her when she is called out. Not even called out, when she does something illegally. Hello? Wife deleted a message from my ex telling me that she was pregnant 5 years ago. This story came February 3rd, 2022. It has been almost 2 weeks since I found out. We've done the tests and she is mine. My ex sent me a message a couple weeks before giving birth telling me about everything. My then girlfriend and present wife saw that my ex sent me a message and deleted it and then blocked her, apparently without reading it. My ex took that as me not wanting to be involved and raised our daughter all alone for 5 years. Oh, that's crazy. And I still don't know if I believe that your wife didn't read the message. She saw that your ex texted and she was like, I'll just delete it and not read it. Girl, come on. I think you were nosy and you read it. But I could totally be wrong on that. So my daughter is turning 5 in a month and I haven't even met her. Every time I think about how much I missed out on, I just lose it. I know I must focus on what I've gained instead of what I've lost, but damn, it's hard. It's taken me 2 hours just to write this out. I don't even want to start on what my ex had to go through alone and the desperation to reach out to my mother for help when she hates her nearly more than me. My wife says that she is remorseful, that she was just very immature at the time and didn't think it would be important, so much so that she forgot about it. I've never loved anyone more than my wife. She has supported me through so much. I believe that she actually feels bad and regrets it. She is pregnant, 21 weeks pregnant with our first child together. We are currently separated while I deal with everything, but I don't know how we will move forward after this. All right. So let's give her the benefit of the doubt. She saw the ex texted and was like, whoop, quickly delete it. She didn't even want to read it. Honest mistake, still wrong. All right. We have an update that came 11 days later. Got some messages asking for updates, and since my post got some attention, I thought I should do a public update. Long story short, I met with my ex last week just to properly explain myself and discuss the whole what nows. It didn't end up being productive and mostly filled with awkward silence with a few miniature arguments. Towards the end, she said that she had been talking to a lawyer and didn't want me to be involved and will be seeking full custody of our daughter with no visitation, as well as suing me for back child support and getting me on child support. Oh my God. All because your wife deleted a text. So that was fun. To be clear, I was always going to provide more than my fair share for any child of mine. I really don't know how any of this works, but I haven't received anything from the court or something, so it could have just been a threat, but she seemed serious. Regardless, I decided to find myself a lawyer to help me instead of waiting around, and eventually got linked with an old friend's brother, who I am meeting with tomorrow, which is great. My wife and I are trying to work things out. Due to my lawyer court situation, financially speaking, we couldn't get an actual therapist, but my wife's pastor offered to provide marriage counseling for us. We only had 2 sessions before the drama broke out, and we temporarily put counseling on pause. Basically, the thing about my wife deleting the message leaked to the rest of my family, which has led to my wife getting uncivil messages from a couple family members. Yes, because let's not forget, that child is someone's niece, nephew, grandchild. Everyone is affected by this. My lovely older sister also decided to add to the fire by posting about this on her Facebook. My wife has locked herself at home since and is taking everything quite badly, since even her friends now have distanced themselves from her. I'm actually quite worried about it, but at least her mom is there with her and I try to check in on her regularly. It is just all overwhelming. When I'm not thinking about my daughter, I'm thinking about my ex. When I'm not thinking about my ex, I'm thinking about my family drama. And when I'm not thinking about that, I'm thinking about my marriage and the current pregnancy. And there's still work, so it has been a very terrible week. Finding it hard to maintain optimism and excitement for my daughter when all this had happened. Just a shit situation all around. We have an update, which came 3 months later. It's quite a long story, so the more condensed version is that I have met my daughter. My ex and I handled the custody and support agreement ourselves, still signed off by the court. We're both committed to making this co-parenting thing work, and it's been going well so far. My wife and I are back at home and both excited about nearing the due date. We've decided to move on. The longer version, the last update ended with my ex threatening to fight me in court. Well, the lawyer I'd arranged suggested we give mediation to try and set that up with her lawyers and his mediator. Overall, the mediation went quite crap and seemed to be more detrimental to us ever cooperating. We only had 2 actual sessions and both were filled with unnecessary fighting and no resolution. Funny enough, it was the chaos at the mediation that kind of proved to both of us we weren't interested in fighting with each other indefinitely, and she reached out late in the evening after the second mediation, asking to meet up the next day. In that meeting, we talked things out and we listened to one another. Sorted through some baggage from our relationship, as well as spoke about what exactly had been going on for the past 5 years. Hours-long conversation, but it was totally worth it. We agreed that we'd make it work and we put our daughter in the forefront. A meeting was arranged for me to drive over and see my daughter face to face, so I did. At the time, I wasn't introduced properly as her father, and she obviously was cagey around this random dude around, but it was still great seeing her for the first time. She was and is seeing someone to help with the transition of me into her life, and I've since been properly introduced to her, and she has started calling me Papa, so things are going stunningly smooth, and she's coping with it really well. Plus, my ex has floated around the idea that if she could find a job or a better job where I am, she would consider moving, so distance isn't too big of a problem, though that is still a big if. For now, I'll just keep driving up to her when we're acquainted enough to allow her to make the trip to me. The last update on my wife left things at my sister posting about everything and my family fighting with my wife. My sister has removed the posts and apologized to my wife, although not sincere, but still an apology. Still ongoing, but attempts of reconciling my family and wife are going more or less well. My wife momentarily moved to stay with her parents to get away from everything for about a month, but has since moved back to the house with me as we are soon expecting the birth of our child in the upcoming weeks. All extremely excited over that, and we've worked through our issues. I'm sure most of you will be disappointed by this, but I do 100% believe my wife and trust that she isn't some conniving person. She's still the woman I love, and we're all to blame for the circumstance that led to this whole situation. All we can do is focus on the future, and that is it. Signed off, a happy dad of almost 2. What are we believing, you guys? Do we believe she read the message and then deleted it? Because that would be twisted. If she knew that girl was pregnant with his kid and made the choice to not tell him, that would change everything. Let me know your thoughts. My water bottle is not even in this room. Who am I? We're hopping on hydration station. Hold on. I gotta go get mine. All right, we're back in business. I am ready to go. I filled it up. That's why I forgot. She is fully loaded, baby. Cheers. Drink your water. My wife went out last night and didn't come home until this morning. This story was first posted October 16th, 2022. This is horrible. I'm furious right now, but I'm also depressed as hell. I know what I have to do. It's just killing me that I have to do it. It's fresh and it hurts a lot. My wife didn't come home last night. She went out with a couple of girlfriends, which is pretty normal for her. She's normally back around 2 a.m. on these nights, so I waited up. Around 2:30, I called to check in. She answered and I could hear people in the background. She told me they went to a party, but we are leaving in a couple of minutes. She wasn't home by 3, so I texted. It delivered, but no reply. Around 4 a.m., I called again. It rang a couple of times before she sent me to voicemail. My wife finally came stumbling through the door at 6:47 a.m. this morning. I know the exact time because I was worried. She was wearing a dress she didn't leave the house in, with mesh leggings I've never seen either. The leggings had clearly been torn and her makeup was smudged. My heart sank when I saw her. My immediate worry was that she had been assaulted. She only shook her head no when I asked her that. I asked her what she had been doing then. She only said that I knew what she had been doing, and that kind of confirmed what the voice in the back of my head had been screaming at me since she walked in. My wife cheated on me last night. I asked her who it was. She shrugged almost casually and said it was somebody they met at the club. She went back to his house and hooked up with him, then Ubered home. She then said she didn't want to fight and just wanted to sleep. So that is what she did. She's still asleep now and didn't even take a shower before passing out. Safe to say, our relationship is over. We don't have any kids and we rent, so it shouldn't be an extremely complicated process. I keep trying to reason myself out of it, pretending there might be something to salvage here. I've always maintained that cheating would be a red line for me though. I think I need to stick to that now. We have an update 2 days later. I think I went through all of the stages of grief while my soon-to-be ex was sleeping. I wasn't expecting my post to get any attention at all. I just figured I needed to try to talk to someone about it because I was not in a good headspace. I made the post in the morning and by noon she was still conked out in the bedroom. I had processed things a bit more and I had a rough plan in my head that I was starting to set in motion. I made a short list of questions that I wanted answers to, gathered up all my important documents, laptop, etc. Then I went into the bedroom and started packing myself a suitcase. I know a lot of folks wanted me to kick her out. I did consider it, but honestly, I'm not overly attached to this place. We just rent, and I'm in a lucky enough situation to be able to say that paying half the rent for a few months isn't going to financially end me. It'll sting a little bit, I won't lie, but I will make it. And I feel like being around this place is only going to remind me of her anyway. I need to be looking forward, not back. She ended up waking up about halfway through me packing my suitcase. There was momentarily confusion as she looked around the room, then she just started bawling. Maybe this is awful of me, but I didn't even bother comforting her. I told her I had the screenshots of her Uber and text messages from her phone, and that, plus her confirmation, was enough that things between us are completely done. She didn't answer me and just cried louder. I debated trying to continue the conversation, but I decided to just pack the rest of my suitcase and head back out to the living room until she came out. When she finally left the bedroom, she sat next to me on the couch and asked me if we could talk things through. I told her as calmly as possible that wasn't how things were going to work. I was going to ask questions. I wanted honest answers. She told me she'd be honest, so I proceeded. My voice was shaking the entire time. It was taking me everything to hold it together, but I kept going. Was this the first time that she had cheated? She started crying before she answered that and then told me no. She had cheated on me multiple times over the course of our relationship. It was, and I'm going to use her words exactly here, just a way for me to let off steam. None of it ever meant anything. You can let off steam with your partner. Shocker. I know, right? I wrote a comment shortly after making my post that all the love couldn't just fade away in one swoop. Well, it can. It hit me right then and there that I wasn't dealing with my wife. The person I'm married to literally wasn't in this room. This was someone different. She refused to tell me exactly how many times she had cheated, just more than last night. I asked her, had she used protection? No hesitation from her before she nodded her head empathetically. She seemed surprised that I even asked that. I'm still going to get tested just to be safe. I did some research into timing and I'm going to look into it. Were her friends also cheating on their spouses? Yes and no. I tried to get her to tell me which of her friends were cheating so I could get in contact with their spouses. She probably should have because her refusal led me to messaging pretty much the romantic partner of every one of her girlfriends that I could find on social media. There are a couple I don't know or couldn't find, but I did my part. I asked, why did she do it? This was the answer that gutted me the most. I'm going to use her exact words again. I need to have a sexual variety. I told her it's not like our sex life is dull. She clarified it's not the same as something new. I didn't even have a response to that one. I had expected something about me working too much or not supporting her emotionally. Nope. She just screwed other guys because she felt like it and wanted to have some fun. When I didn't respond, she started asking me about counseling and therapy. I reiterated that our relationship was over. I would be leaving. What she did next disgusted me. My ex actually tried to have sex with me. She put her hands on me and started trying to take my clothes off. I felt like I wanted to vomit and pushed her away after a couple of seconds. She just kept telling me that she could figure out a way to fix this, that we could work through it together. I told her there was no way, and she started bawling again. She went to the bathroom and locked herself inside. If you need sexual variety and the fun of something new, hey, don't get married. Be single. You can have something new anytime you want and not hurt someone in the process. Wow, what a deal. I was just sick of everything at this point. I called her mother and told her what was going on, the full story too, the cheating, the questions I had asked, and the fact that I was leaving. I've always had a good relationship with my ex's parents. They both decided to drive to town, which is about an hour for them. Once I knew someone was on the way, I just grabbed my things and I left. Her waterworks in the bathroom were just annoying me because it felt hollow to me, especially given the answers to my questions. I ended up packing another bag before I left and took all the things that I could think of that I felt sentimental attachment to with me. I found a parking lot and I sat in my car until I was able to get in contact with a buddy of mine to crash at. I tried to take a nap, but I was running on way too much adrenaline. I knew when her parents had made it to the apartment because she started calling me. When I didn't answer those, she started texting me. She had gone from sad and crying to furious. Apparently, I made POS for telling her mom everything. Whoops. I received roughly 100 texts from her since leaving. They range from name calling all the way to begging me to come back, to sending pictures of the food she ate for some reason. I haven't responded to any of them. I feel like I said my piece before leaving. So that's where I'm at now. We didn't have joint finances, so that part was easy. I canceled all the subscriptions that go to my credit card just to be sure, and changed all of my important passwords. I'm crashing on a friend's couch for the next bit, but I've got some feelers out to some short-term rental places until I can find something more permanent. I've also got feelers out for a divorce attorney too. A coworker of mine had a recommendation, so bearing something better, I'll probably go with them. We have a final update 4 months later. I wonder if they got back together. Selfishly, not even selfishly, I'm just hoping they don't. Hey folks, I'm happy, I guess. My ex and I both signed the final papers for our divorce this week. It feels kind of surreal to think about that still. About 2 weeks into everything, she got resistant. I cut her off entirely and she refused to return my attorney's calls for a little while. Eventually, things got back on track. As for the infidelity itself, I don't have a ton more details to share with you. We did a short mediation, and by that time, I didn't feel there was any remorse on her end. I've talked about that a lot with my therapist. I'm in therapy, by the way. It still hurts that someone who I thought loved me could have apparently cared for me so little, but I'm working through it. Happy to say you have moved on because no one deserves that, and if it was a pattern. It didn't just happen once, that was a pattern. Girl was living another life. Let me know your thoughts and feelings. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I'll see you tomorrow.